What's going on, everybody? This is Michael with Rookie Sports Cards, and I want to welcome you to the first ever edition of Behind the Bar with Rookie Sports Cards. Today we have a very special guest, one of my good childhood friends, none other than Mr. Adrian Perez. Adrian is a high school buddy of mine. We've known each other. We go way, way back. He's also known as Bobo, which we will get into that story as to why we call him that. But our topic today is what it means to be a fan. And is it possible to be a real fan and be critical of your team? We're just fresh off of a Dodgers loss. A lot of people are critical of that, the decisions that Dave Roberts made. A lot of you guys have bad teams, and, you guys are critical of it, and you're probably getting called a fake fan for that. So we want to talk about that. Adrian's the perfect person to talk to about it because he's got like 10 different teams, and we'll get into that as well. So I hope you guys enjoy our first ever episode of Behind the Bar with Rookie Sports Cards. Enjoy.
Recording? Are we recording now?
We're good. We're good. We're live. This is it. This is our first episode of Behind the Bar with Rookie Sports Cards. So, I want to welcome my good friend Adrian, sir.
Pleasure, man.
Thanks for being the first guest.
Yeah, for sure.
So, just as a as a tradition, we're going to start here. It is Behind the Bar with Rookie Sports Cards. I'm going to offer you a drink. We do have alcoholic beverages in here, but there's no peer pressure. This is 2019. We respect each other's feelings.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'll tell you what I have.
What do you got?
I got some waters. I got some Modelo's, Bud Lights, or Pepsi.
Ooh, no, I'm good with drinking alcohol.
I'll have a beer with you.
If you're gonna have a beer with me, I'll have a beer. Let's go.
Let's
have a beer. Yeah, that's fine. It's great.
So, Modelo?
Yes, please.
Okay, that's 2 Modelos. That's it.
Yes, sir.
That's it. That's the tradition. It's Behind the Bar.
Well, then you got to start off with the beer. Then if we're gonna start with the first one.
You think so? You think I should do it then? The first one has to be a drink.
Well, no. I mean, if it's the first one of this series, then we have to go with the beer.
It's Modelo time, fool.
Even though it's daytime on a Tuesday or whatever it is.
You're never supposed to tell the time.
They don't know what year it is.
Come on, what is this? We're gonna talk about the Dodgers losing. All right, so
it's every year.
It's
great. Oh, fantastic.
No, right? Shit, you got me.
Here we go.
You got me. Okay, so I mentioned it in the introduction. Let's get this out of the way. I'm going to tell the story how I remember it, and it's vague. So maybe you could fill in the.
Okay.
Maybe you could fill in the.
Chose a beer.
Yeah. Maybe you could fill in the blanks there. But so we were sophomores together. It was Bishop Vermont High School, right?
Yep.
Okay. English class, Miss Kellner.
Yeah.
Miss Kellner, who I assume, or I think you had a slight crush on.
Yeah, and it turned into more. True. But I think it was also because she treated me like shit. So it was like that first.
Oh, she was around. She was
introductory to the rest of my life being disappointed by
women.
Yes,
yeah,
great.
Yeah, because she was really like a really snarky, smart aleck, right?
Oh yeah.
Would like talk down to you. Yeah, she called you Bobo. So
that's
we were we were doing some sort of project or something like that, and you said you answered out of turn or said some smart aleck
probably
remark,
I was kind of mouthy.
Bobo the clown, and she called you Bobo the clown,
and then she called me Bobo the clown, and I was like, it's Bozo, and then obviously didn't make the situation any better.
Yes.
And she said something to the thing of like, well, you always cry. We have to always cry about everything like a baby, and then it just like fucking snapped, and she called me Baby Bobo.
Yeah, there you go. And then we all laughed at you, and then ridiculed you further.
Continue to have that name. For
and then
beyond.
Yeah, and now she would be fired. Probably, right? You can't do that to a kid nowadays.
Yeah, now it would be Baby Bobo Memorial High School.
Yeah, because you would own. Yeah, you would own that school. Yeah, the parking lot at least would be the Bobo.
I won't take the stadium. At least give me the parking lot. That's fine.
So that's the story of Bobo, which was pretty funny. I mean, it probably doesn't seem as funny now, but back when you're 15 years old in a classroom.
Going through like puberty and the rise of your
all the
masculinity.
kids,
That's not what you want to
and
be
all the
called.
kids, not all the kids liked Miss Kellner, but she was a semi-attractive Asian woman, right?
Yeah, and again, she was like curvy, and we're young fucking teenagers and horny.
Yeah, she
and,
was curvy. Yeah, that's a good word, curvy.
And then again, she was aggressive and like being like,
she
we're
real
going
like
through that adolescent stuff.
insulting.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, like how
Like
dominatrixy.
Yeah.
That was kind of weird.
Well, we just got a little insight into Adrian's life. But all right. So today we want to talk to you about what it means to be a fan. And I'll tell you why. So you guys, well, you can't see everybody else, but you can't see what you can't see here is I'm a big UCLA fan and I'm a big San Francisco fan. I'm also a Dodger fan. So those teams, you know, we've had our good years, we've had our bad years, more bad years than not. Okay. Let's just start with the Dodgers since it's fresh. Okay. Been a Dodger fan for a good long while now. I can't say I was since I was a child because I wasn't. Baseball has never been my thing. I've never been really much of a baseball guy. I've always played it in high school, but it just wasn't my thing, you know? So growing up, I liked players. I was a shortstop, so I idolized Cal Ripken Jr. when he played short. I idolized Derek Jeter when he played short, okay? So I idolized just different players from different teams. Growing up in the 90s, 96, 97, 98, that's when Barry Bonds sort of
cheated.
You can say what you want, whatever, but dominated the game. Okay, he dominated the game. Okay,
And the headlines and dominated everything.
And headlines.
He was everything everyone was talking about.
The man. He was the man. So I was a Bonds fan, and by default, I was a San Francisco Giants fan. Okay, now that was up until my sophomore year. All right, you don't know any better, right? You don't know anything. Well, after my sophomore year, I truly devoted and stuck to the Dodgers. And I said, from here on out, I'm a Dodger fan. This is what I'm doing. And I put in my time. And a good buddy of mine said, the only way you could become a Dodger fan after being an Angels fan is you have to be baptized by 5 Dodger fans. And that means we got to pee on you. That's what he told me. I didn't let it happen, but that's what he told me. But I've stuck with the Dodgers faithfully ever since. Okay? So... yeah, I know, right? You got to pee on you.
Yeah. First of all, any fan base that involves 5 male genitalia and 1 other person, it's probably not the fan base I want to be a part of.
That's true.
But if that's your thing, that's your thing for me.
I
would have ended right there real quick.
I would have stuck with the Giants if that was my thing. That was my thing. But so... that's what it was. I've been a Dodger fan ever since, rooted for the Dodgers. Now, as somebody who plays, and maybe this is on to something, right? Somebody who played the sport growing up and has been an athlete growing up, I believe I can be a little bit more critical than the most. But what happens often is when you're critical of a team, you become a fake fan, or you become you're not a real fan. You must be a Giants fan, or you must be, enter rival team name here, That's the way it is, and I don't believe that's necessarily true. I don't understand why you can't want the best for your team. You want the best for everything in your own life. Why can't you want the best for your own team?
No, I agree. I think it goes down to something maybe even deeper than that, where you're critical to most things because you have a passion about it, or because you care about them. You could also see it to where I would say, well, to me, if you don't criticize your team or demand something in response to your 33 years of allegiance, whatever it is, since you've been born, and the countless amount of dollars you spend in tickets and jersey sales and switching to a different cable provider because the only one that has your team on it, your team should owe you something. They should be able to offer something you back.
Yeah.
And they should be able to give you, whether that's winning, whether that's fan appreciation. You should be critical of your
It should be allowed.
Of your team. It should definitely be allowed. Yeah. So that kind of entails to my backstory. Obviously, you guys see I'm wearing a Mets jersey. Unlike Mike, I grew up a Dodger fan.
That's going to be a running theme when it comes to Adrian's teams,
right.
by the way.
And it's funny because today would have been my grandfather's 85th birthday. He passed away while we were in high school, but that's funny. It's actually weird that that's today. The way it ties into that is one of my grandfather's very first jobs coming here as a Mexican immigrant was working as a parking attendant at Dodger Stadium.
Really?
Yeah. He worked dishwasher during the day at a hospital, worked at Dodger Stadium, parking attendant, had 2 kids already that he had brought from Mexico, went to school, and eventually, through all that, became one of the very first sets of ambulance drivers for the fire department in LA County. ever.
Wow.
So we were going to Dodger games early. I mean, that's what we knew. Baseball, my grandfather.
This had to been like what, mid '80s?
Oh, when he came, it was even earlier. It was in the '70s.
Yeah, but if you're going to games, it's got to be.
But I'm going to games, since I was born, because that's involved in our Hershiser pitching. I mean, I remember being like 6 at a Dodger game. And this goes into shit. Maybe I'm more traumatized than I thought. Seeing 2 Dodger fans get in a fight with someone, and being 6 years old, rooting for the Dodger fan to like beat up this other team's fan. And so that's where my allegiance comes from. Is I was a Dodger fan. Now, being younger and starting to love the sport a little bit more, the greatest catcher of all time, offensively at least, Mike Piazza, which is the jersey I'm wearing. It's not just like I'm wearing a random Mets jersey. I
would say Ivan Rodriguez or Pudge Rodriguez, or Mike Schmidt, or
offensively it's Mike Piazza. Mike Piazza. Numbers don't lie. Okay. So,
all right. I gave Mike Piazza his due. There was one time where the man would always strike out or something like that. This is when I wasn't a Dodger fan. And then I saw him. He was up to bat. I was, flipping through the channels. He was up. Bases were loaded. And I said to myself, I said to Mike Piazza through the television, if you hit this grand slam right now, you got my respect. And he hit a grand slam. And ever since then, I was like, all right, I tip my hat to him. But, I give him his respect. I don't know about crowning him.
I mean, but that's me growing up, understanding Mike Piazza at the time.
Yeah.
So, also, the Mets had some type of tradition of having ex-Dodgers. Hershiser retired as a Met. Then we get Piazza. We have Todd Zeile. Most people don't remember Pedro Martinez, who decided to go to Hall of Fame as a Met, was a Dodger. We traded him for Delino DeShields.
I remember Delino DeShields.
Bro. So, automatically, it was very easy for me to say, like, hey, look, I'm maybe 7, 8 years old. Things start changing. Piazza finally goes over. I'm like, dude, I'm going to be a Mets fan because, again, like you associated.
So you followed that Giants. Player. So you more or less followed the player across.
I followed the player across, and then I was also upset because I love the Dodgers still in my heart, how they run the organization. And that's how, being that young, I still understood that we had 5 Rookie of the Years in a row.
Yeah.
And not one of them got signed to a long-term contract with the Dodgers.
Which I think was smart because after they left. Well, that's a different topic. But you know what I mean?
Different topic.
Yeah.
But I mean, all those guys, I just didn't feel the time Dodgers were taking care of their players that we loved. It was easy to see them go. I was upset at the time even because going to Dodger Stadium was a shithole. Like they very, very, very rarely, this is when Fox owned them, put money into it. But all that affects you as like an experience and going to a game and rooting for a team. So it's easy for me to switch to a Mets fan. I've been a diehard Mets fan ever since.
So how long ago was that?
Shit.
What year did you switch?
90. See, right
2
when Piazza,
years ago.
When Piazza, what's today? When Piazza got traded, it was 91, I think.
It was later.
No, 95. 95 they ran the 5 and 95s.
Yeah.
So it had to be around 98, 99.
Okay, so you're like 12 years old. You're not even a grown man yet. You haven't even, you know what I mean?
I'm not. And that's why I still had kind of a...
So
I love the Mets. What did it for points, me... what did it for me was... Because like I said, I still love the Dodgers. I was following Piazza. I hadn't officially become a fan yet and been like, oh, I love this team. They go to the World Series our sophomore year. I love it. It's fantastic. Our senior year was 9/11. You were at a different school than we were, but
it was 2011, right? No, 2001. 2001.
It happened during the week, so none of us had football games that Friday. That's why all of us had a 9-year season that year. Nobody played any sports. One of the first games that came back was that Saturday night after we'd already canceled our games.
Yeah.
And the Mets were playing. And Mike Piazza hits what's called the shot heard around New York, where it's the first game back. Piazza hits a go-ahead home run in I believe it's the 8th. And it's one of the most amazing things and calls you'll ever see ever again. And after that, I was like, if you don't love the Mets, you're a terrorist.
Really, bro? Right after 9/11? That's the joke you want to make? Jesus.
It's been a while.
Jesus.
It's been a while. But yeah, I mean, that's what solidified it. And I was like, I'm definitely cannot not be a Mets fan.
Well, it's one thing. It's one thing because as an adult, you make your decision. You know what I mean? And as a kid, you don't, like I said, you don't know any better. You don't know any better, so you make your decision, and that sticks. Do you get extra points? Absolutely. You get mad points if you have that hat from you back in 4 years old in that little Dodger jersey and you wearing it. Do you get extra points? Absolutely. Okay. That's how I am with the 49ers. Grew up liking the 49ers. I don't know why. Everybody always says, oh, you grew up in the Bay. My little brother just told that to me, or to one of our friends. You grew up in the Bay. You grew up in the Bay, right? Because growing up, I liked the 49ers, and I like the Giants, and I like the Kings. The Sacramento Kings, but here's why. Again, I don't like basketball. I'm not a basketball guy. I'll watch playoff basketball, but I'm not a basketball guy. And for me, I could not stand Laker fans. I could not stand the arrogance, could not stand the fairy tale, we're the best, we're going to beat everybody bullshit. Couldn't stand that. I didn't like any of that, which is also why I didn't like, why I despise USC fans for the same arrogance, right? And so I, just as being the what's it called when you go against somebody else? The contrarian. The contrarian. To be the contrarian, I went with the Sacramento Kings, who had a good squad. Mike Bibby, Peja Stojakovic, Vlade Divac, greatest Laker of all time. Vlade Divac. Yeah,
because we traded him for Kobe. Yeah. So thanks, Vlade.
Vlade Divac. Dude, Doug Christie. We should have won it all that year. So
Doug Christie wanted no part of Rick Fox's hands.
My brother says, he grew up in the Bay. I grew up in the Bay. But I generally I don't care for any basketball teams other than UCLA. So I grew up a 49er fan. My older brother was a Cowboy fan at the time. Now he's a diehard Raider fan. My little brother's been a Raider fan his whole life, I stuck with that team. Now it's a little hard for me. I just went to the Rams 49er game last weekend, and my buddy asked me, hey, Mike, how many games have you been to? I've only been to like 3 pro games. One of them was up north. I've been to 2 up north to see them in the new stadium, but I didn't get to go to Candlestick. I was a fucking kid.
And you're down here.
Yeah, and I live in Southern California. So, that kind of, when he told me, I was like, oh shit, I've only been to, it made me feel like a bad fan. But, you find other ways to support, right? You find your ways to support your team. Everybody has that attachment. I think we all could agree on what a fake fan is, right? Bandwagon, right? You hear that word bandwagon.
Yeah, just people jump on the bandwagon all the time.
Yeah.
You're fake fans too. And to go back to your point, like, it should never, I don't ever believe that fandom should ever come down to materialistic things, especially when it comes to like money. Like, I mean, NFL games are expensive. I'm a season ticket holder for the Chargers. It's expensive. It's a luxury.
Yeah.
They're a couple $100 at least every game you go, and even though it's
parking alone is $100.
Parking is $100 a tailgate. Yeah, it's crazy. So it's it's a $400 or $500 day.
Yeah,
that shouldn't determine how big of a fan you are.
Absolutely,
ever. Like, that's never fair. It's never fair if anyone has fucking the one 49ers shirt that they wear all the time, as opposed to someone saying, oh, I got a jersey from like guys who aren't on the team anymore. Like, that shouldn't matter either.
Yeah,
it's your loyalty and how you represent it. And so right off the bat, I hate the materialistic part of it. But the bandwagon fans are always the fans to me that jump on, and whether it's right or wrong, they jump on because that team's winning or that team's popular. And then you can break it down to like different types of bandwagon fans, where you've got like the bandwagon fan, I call it significant other, where you don't have a team or you're not into it.
And that's okay. But women get a pass, right?
I respect that. Well, okay, what if it's the other way around?
Oh, then you don't have a boyfriend. Then you have a girlfriend. If it's the other way around.
But I respect that part. So, like, because I've had significant others who were, because they want to show interest in me and what I love and what I do, will pick a team or wear that, and then it's funny because I've had them text me before, be like, oh, I hate you now because I'm a so and so fan. I'm like, oh, sucks.
I respect that more.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, cool. You have your own. Now we have a little sum.
It's cool to enjoy it together too. Yeah. It's not fair if you're, like I said, if you're married or you do have something other, and you're like, I'm going to go watch the game this weekend, or I'm going to go here this weekend. It's like, if you could spend that time together, that's great. But
well, it's always better. But like, My wife, she was a 49er fan. With me, she's not a big sports person. But once we got together, boom, season tickets to UCLA. Now she's going to every UCLA game with me. And she don't particularly enjoy it, but like you said, she enjoys spending the time with me. She knows that I love it, so she goes. For a good couple years, she was a 49er fan, but now all of a sudden, since the Rams are home now,
well, now she knows football, though.
And now
she's into it.
She knows a little bit, but I'll tell you what, I wouldn't say she's a Rams fan as much as I would say she's a Coach McVay fan. So I think that's the difference. She's a Coach McVay fan. So so this weekend when we were at the game, I had to buy her, and that's that right there. I was giving her shit about it the whole time. I laid every single one of my 49er jerseys out. Which one should I wear, right? And I'm thinking about, we're away. We're wearing the road white. Maybe I'll wear the Montana road white. I don't know. It's a little dirty from last game. Maybe I'll wear this.
She got to stick out over the red.
And then I tell her, then I tell her, oh, what jersey are you going to wear? Because I know she doesn't have any jersey.
But that's because she's new. But that's because she doesn't have the time to develop that.
Yeah,
whatever.
She's new. So, but I was still giving her shit about it, And then of course at the stadium, I bought her all this shit, because I'm a good husband. But I think for specific teams, you have, let's say, the Warriors. If you're a male, and you're a fan of the Warriors, within 5 years. Bandwagon.
I agree.
Bandwagon,
I
right?
agree.
Bandwagon. Fake fan. Fake fan. Okay?
I agree.
You have to put in time.
If you don't know who Chris Mullen is, you're definitely
yeah, right. You have to put in time. You have to put blood, sweat, and tears into an organization, into a team before you can enjoy their good years.
Yeah, you can't just jump in and be like,
you can't just
we're good
jump in and be like, I love the way Tom Brady plays. No, fuck that. No. You have to have put in the time with Bill Parcells at that tail end with Drew Bledsoe and Terry Glenn, those last final 2 years, right? Like Curtis Martin's last years before they sent him off to the Jets, where they were on the cusp. You have to have experienced heartache and heartbreak.
So bad.
For you to enjoy those championships.
Or, now that it looks like it's coming to some sort of an end, now you got to stick with it. Now, if you're one of those fans...
Wait, hold on a second. What's coming to an end?
Golden State Warriors era's
I thought you were talking about the Patriots.
No.
Hold on a second, bro. Ain't no time soon.
No.
But, you're right about the Warriors. Yeah.
Then you got to stick with it. Then you got to be least you got to pull it out and be like, hey, look, we had our good years. I enjoyed it. Now I got to stick with it. If you're wearing some other jersey... not even got an Anthony Davis jersey on or some shit, then that's not gonna.
Yeah, if you're jumping ship, that just ain't. I think that earns me the right to be critical. Yeah. That absolutely earns me the right. I know you mentioned you don't like to talk about the monetary things that you put into it, but
time is different. Time is different. I think.
Yeah, I invest time, I invest money, and I invest emotions. There are times where it's an away game and I'm in that living room watching television and we're getting blown out when we're supposed to be, or we're losing, or it's a close game when we're supposed to be top 4 projected to be in the college football playoff. And I know there's no way in hell we're going to play for a fucking playoff when we're losing like this to Rice. You know what I mean? And when my wife comes home and she looks at me and she can't even talk to me because I'm so upset. And maybe that's an asshole move, and that is. And I'm sorry, honey. But
they made you that asshole.
Exactly. When you invest that kind of emotion into a game, and I get it. It's a game.
Well, no. I'll give you one better. What if you're investing in your safety? I go into Dodger Stadium every game.
Get out of here. I already know what you're going to say.
I go in that place.
You're afraid for your life?
Honestly, no, I'm not afraid for me. I don't give a shit to handle myself. I feel bad for the people that go with me. Or like when I go with a girl and I'm making her wear a Mets shirt or my sisters.
Make her wear a Mets shirt. You hear that?
That's bad.
That's really bad.
Or I go with my sisters and they're diehard Dodger fans. And I'm the asshole in the Mets jersey and sitting amongst them all the way. Yeah. And your typical...
I know what you're going to say.
We'll get into this soon.
Yeah.
To me, your typical Dodger fan is what it is. It's the most aggressive Non-loyal.
I'm going to say immature, only for the because there's no
Uninformed.
really just dumb.
Worst fans ever.
Not uninformed, not dumb.
They're very uninformed.
I shouldn't
Half
say
these guys
dumb.
have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, you're
in the
right.
game.
You're right. And it's more about the color than it is about the team.
It's more about sitting there.
And you're right. But you know what? That's 40%.
With a beach ball.
That's
and
40%.
Getting drunk off $20 beers.
I would say that's 40% of the fan base. 40% of the fan base, and that's only in right field.
It's about 80% of the fan base sitting in the reserve tire.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
80% of that's sitting in right field. Yeah. Don't sit right
field.
Don't
Left field and right field is a death
I don't even want to sit
left field. No one to go.
Well, here's a funny story. Here's a funny story, and it happened against the Mets.
Of course.
I go to Dodger Stadium to watch, and at this time, no, it's not the Mets. It's the Giants. I'm sitting in right field level. Right, I got my Giants hat on. I'm sitting there, and this is when Bonds was at his peak.
So he's
crushing him. He's crushing him, and we're sitting there. Oh, left field. We're sitting in the left field level, right by the pole, and I'm cheering on Barry. Everybody's giving him shit. They're talking about, get the steroids. Where's the needle? Hey, Bonds. They're giving him the business as they should. It's baseball, right? I see, because I'm field level. I could see across at the left field pavilion, which is one of the worst places to sit in Dodger Stadium.
Probably.
Do not ever sit there. Okay. The San Francisco Giants had a Japanese hitter. He was their center fielder. His last name was Shinjo. I forget his first name, but something Shinjo. He was a Japanese player, right? So he was their outfielder.
I think the Mets got him too for years.
That's what I was saying. I think that's why I thought it was on the Mets. So a poor Japanese woman wearing a Shinjo jersey gets up to go to the concessions. And when she gets up, I mean, these guys just pelted her with wrapper after can after hot dog. Just this poor Japanese woman. And then when she came back, it wasn't no better. Like, it was rough. It was bad. So I get it. There's shitty fans, Adrian, but there's shitty fans everywhere.
You know what? There is. And I've been to a lot of stadiums, a lot of places, but you can look up statistics about the arrests, the people who have died from beatings in the parking lot, the stabbings. It's really bad. Every stadium is bad. Every stadium has those people. I'm just saying, unfortunately, Dodger fans have the worst.
Well, I think we live on the West Coast, and obviously we're going to hear about it if it happens out here. I think when you look at the number of games versus the number of people in attendance, it's
that's what I was going to get into.
Well,
then unfortunately, that point does fall into the financial category, where you can get tickets to a Dodger game for $8.
Really?
Yeah, you can find them on StubHub and stuff.
But you're at the top.
But it doesn't matter. So now you can walk around the stadium. You can they have bars and satellites. They don't restrict you either.
They don't.
So it's hard, but I'm saying and like you said, it's more frequent and it's more available. The thing is, it's more available to people. Anytime you have something that's more scarce, like a football game or a Lakers game, the tickets are higher. The expectation is different. They can afford more for more security.
Supply and demand. There's more supply for the Dodgers because there's the damn season so long.
So you're getting fans who aren't as loyal, fans who aren't as informed, fans who aren't there more for the Dodger game, more for the Dodger experience. I've had people tell me that too. I say, what's the main reason why you're a Dodger fan over an Angel fan? Oh, Angel fans are kind of boring, or Angel games are kind of boring. Dodger games are a lot more exciting. It's the same game being played.
Yeah, it's still a boring game being played.
What is it? Just the beach balls are being thrown around and more people drink and don't care about the game as much?
Honestly, I think Angel games are more fun. They got that beer pavilion right there.
Well, they have a lot of cool shit out there.
It's way cooler.
Second year in a row, you guys look it up. Second year in a row, Angel Stadium was voted the most fan-friendly stadium in all of baseball.
Is it Orange County?
Orange County. But people don't also understand, Dodger Stadium's the third oldest stadium in baseball.
It's a shithole.
Angel Stadium's the fourth.
Really?
Angel Stadium is the fourth.
It don't look like it.
Doesn't look like it. Dodgers have more money, right?
Yeah.
Yet Angel Stadium has been completely renovated twice. Angel Stadium continues to pour money into changing seats, so a lot of that stuff. I come from hospitality and a management aspect, so I look at that shit too when I go to games, and I perceive the value as going to an Angel game better than going to a Dodger game. The only reason I go to more Dodger games is because the Mets are in the National League. They come here more, so they play each other more. So like I'm more inclined to buy Dodger games too. And I go just for the love of baseball. I never wear Dodger shit. I'm not that guy that wears a Mets jersey to a Dodgers Padres game.
Thank you, thank you for that. No. Listen, I look.
Those fans are totally different.
I'm gonna send a message out to you right now. Okay, I get it. You love your team, and maybe you go to a game just because you love the sport. But don't be that fucking guy that wears a Dolphins jersey to the Rams versus 49er game. Don't be that guy. Or don't be that guy that wears your Cowboy jersey and your Cowboy hat to the Rams versus 49er game.
There was Raider fans.
Don't be that guy.
At the Chargers game this weekend.
Like
there was Raider fans at the Chargers Broncos game this weekend wearing like Raider jerseys. One guy had like a hat and a beanie and like the Raider scarf. I'm like
I get it. You love your team and you love football. Good for you.
Yeah.
But why? Because you're asking for it. Because if I'm a 49er fan and I'm in Levi's Stadium, and if we're playing the Rams, the only person I hate more than the people wearing the Rams jersey is the one jack off wearing the fucking Cowboys.
And now you gave both of us a reason.
Exactly.
To be pissed
now
off
we're
at you.
both gonna
I'm gonna fucking help this guy.
You're asking for it. Yeah.
So like I said, I've got Charger season tickets. My sisters are Chargers fans.
But you're not a Chargers fan.
I'm a Broncos fan.
Okay, I know you're not.
So
I know you are.
Yeah. So last weekend we played the Broncos. It was great. All my friends came. We wore our Broncos jerseys. We're fantastic.
Yeah. Now's your chance.
That's what I bought them for too. Was to go to that game and sell them anyway. I've gone to 3 other games since then. I've never worn a Denver shirt or a jersey or even a hat.
You were just there yesterday, right?
I was there yesterday
against the Steelers,
watching it against the Steelers, which was unreal. How many Steelers fans?
I've seen clips all day.
So my sister and I go, and I wear a Bishop Mott sweater. I was like, it's bluish. I've worn Laker jerseys to the Charger games before. Something that shows that I'm like
neutral.
Completely neutral.
I'm into sports.
Yeah. I wear a USC jersey or a Lakers jersey.
Yeah.
Now I go to Broncos game, I'm in full gear, but that's the thing. I'm not going to these games. I don't know if it's attention. These guys like, look at me. I'm
they dress up like the luchador version of the team. I've seen that.
But those fans to me are like even worse. It's like, bro, now you're here just looking to start shit. You're looking to kind of be center of attention and people to kind of like piss you off. Don't be that guy.
So, all right, we kind of drifted off topic a little bit, but I mean, I
still
think
a type of fake fan.
It is. Those I don't know about fake fan though. I mean, that's
a fake fan to me.
But going over just.
Yeah, to me, it seems like you like that team just because it creates controversy, or you like that team just because it's not another team.
Oh, you mean the guy who wears the jersey to a game that they're not even playing? Got it. Yeah. That I don't know. I think you're just a dipshit. You're just being a dipshit.
Also,
like I said, I get it. You're a fan, but just fucking come on, dude. Just don't. Why start it? Yeah. Why start the problem? You know. But just to get back on topic, like I think, with the 49ers, I went through the good years. I went through the bad years. The last time they won the World Series, the last time they won the championship was in 1995. I was 10 years old, 11 years old. These jerseys, I haven't seen a championship since. I know we had the Super Bowl year that year, but it's been bad ever since, and have I tailed off? Yeah, but shit, man. You could only deal with so much stuff for so long.
But you didn't pick another team.
I didn't pick another team.
Tailing off is different.
I tailed off.
You get upset organization, whatever. Saying I'm not spending more money and effort into you.
Yeah. If you got a girl or if you're in a relationship and the person keeps treating you like shit and you keep going back and going back, you're just a fool. You know what I mean? I had to stop. I had to pull away. And I did the same thing with my Bruins. You wanted to talk to me about that the other day. I used to be a season ticket holder for 8 years?
Yeah, wow.
7 years? 8 years? I was there every game religiously. I was there. Like I said, I would not talk to my wife if UCLA was playing bad and I was upset. Like, that's how much it affected my life. I donated. I was donating to the school. I never went to that school. I never
one class.
I never took one unit, not one unit at that school. And I'm donating to this school, to different funds, bro, different things, different organizations. I'm going to basketball games. I'm going to baseball games. I mean, I'm not just a UCLA football or basketball fan. I'm a university fan, man. So I am supporting in every aspect that I possibly can.
Yeah.
And at some point, the product, or I believe that if you are investing that type of not only monetary, but emotional and every other type of support there is to anything in life, and they don't hold up their end,
You're definitely entitled to say,
you're
like,
definitely entitled to either pull back or be critical. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I mean, look at it as like a business, right? Because at the end of the day, UCLA football is a product. UCLA basketball is a product. 49ers, Dodgers,
The NCAA
everything.
is a huge
NCAA is a
product.
giant product, right? If you are not satisfied with a product, you are absolutely entitled to A, either stop using that product, or B, be critical of that product. Okay. Now, fandom is, I get it.
So what point can you say, I've had enough, fuck you, UCLA, I'm going to be a USC fan?
Well, I would never do that. My loyalty would not allow me to do that. Ever. But I believe I have earned the right to be critical. And I know a lot of people, specifically with UCLA. Now, man, it was so long. We were supposed to have this podcast like a month ago.
Yeah.
I put a post on our Facebook groups. I'm a member of the UCLA fan Facebook group, Dodger fan Facebook group, Ram fan Facebook group, like every sport, I'm a member of their fan group. And I put a post and said, what makes you a fan? What makes you a fake fan? And I got just different answers from along. One of the vast majority is a fake fan is somebody who is critical of their team when they're doing bad. I don't believe that.
I don't agree.
I can't agree with that. I absolutely cannot. I think being critical in life is something that most people should do. If I'm fucking up, Adrian, as my good friend, I want you to tell me, Mike, you're fucking up.
Absolutely. Like I said that earlier, it's the things you do care about and you are passionate about it. You expect or you see different results, or you want to understand, hey, look, this isn't going right. I think it could be the opposite too, where if you're not, are you a real fan? Do you really care? Are you there just because you have the tattoo on your neck and that's cool and you want to say that's what you are? Or do you understand when an organization is doing poor now and you expect better results out of them?
Yeah.
That's the difference to me too, is I can't expect to be a fan. You know, USC's lost a couple games this year. Same thing, people say, oh, you got to respect the head coach and respect, the university. It's like, yeah, but you don't. You can respect them, but you can still be critical and have your opinion and your idea of, hey, look, I'm also investing time and money into this. I want something in return. If you're not going to give that to me, or this is not the direction you want to go in, fantastic.
Exactly.
Then I'll go somewhere else.
Exactly.
And that's the big issue.
And that's the thing. Nothing changes without change. Like I just heard that today, right? Nothing changes without change. And if things aren't going the way they need to go or the way they should be going, then you as a consumer of a product need to make a change. You need to do something. And unfortunately, for the NCAA, for these universities, for these teams, the only thing is that's going to get change is hitting that pocketbook. Yeah. Why do you think Colin Kaepernick's not in the NFL anymore? Because he got into their pocket. It's not because he's he's all right. He ain't a starting NFL quarterback, but he's definitely a backup quarterback.
I do have record.
I think he's good enough.
I said 5 years from now he won't be in the league.
Well, I also have record of you saying that Tim Tebow or that Mark Sanchez was a legitimate starting NFL quarterback. So
it was for 3 years.
The defense was good. I'm going to have a water. What about you? You want a water?
Sure, I'll take a water.
Water?
Yeah.
Water or another beer?
Water, please. Mike just doesn't like Sanchez because he went to Mission Viejo.
And USC.
Both for you. That's bad.
That is bad. Mission Viejo beat my high school football team in the CIF championship game. So, yeah, thanks. They beat us my junior year. No. We beat them my junior year in the semis.
Correct. And in the finals, you lost them as your senior year.
Yeah. It's fucked up. Thanks. But the only way things are going to change is with change. And for some people, they're happy with it. I don't understand. And they say, "Oh, you can do this." Is what gets me mad. Oh, you couldn't do better. You think you know better than Dave Roberts?
Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Why not?
Yeah,
why not?
Or you think you know better than Chip Kelly? Like I know what I'm seeing isn't working.
My thing is exactly. That's the thing is I might not be better, but I'm definitely not as stubborn because I want results. I don't have to be better. I just have to know that this isn't working, be able to be a bigger person and say, I've got to change something, and then move forward.
Putting your pride aside.
Putting your pride aside.
And say, this isn't work. This didn't work.
And it happens. Chip Kelly was put into an offense where he didn't have the same players, didn't have the same recruits, is picking up from a program that's unfortunately in the back shadows of USC right now. But he's got to be stubborn enough to at one point say, look, this is not working. I need something else. Yeah. As much as I hate Clay Helton, I think he should not be the coach at USC. Whether it was his decision or not, he said, I can't do this. I need to change the complete offensive scheme we've been doing, and I'm going to hire, well, at the time they hired someone else. Now they have Graham Harrell as offensive coordinator to run that offense because he was at least understanding enough to say, hey, look.
This is my personnel.
This is what I have.
Yeah.
It's not working. And if I want to keep this job or be a better person or a better coach, I've got to change something.
Yeah.
And he did.
Because at the end of the day, it's your ass.
It's just yours.
It is. You're the coach. You need to do something differently. And but when you add in contracts and people paying you this much money, and unfortunately, what happens is, and maybe Dave Roberts does know better. Maybe he does know better. But when you got a GM in there who's all about analytics and all about this or that, and says, "Hey,
there's no
Dave,
time to go with your gut, Dave.
Yeah, this is what the numbers say," and maybe that's Dave Roberts' fault. But I know, as somebody who played sports and somebody who, obviously I never got to the professional level, but I know enough to know when something's not working and when to try to do something differently.
Right.
We've
been in enough. I've obviously coached at high school and little, Pop Warner level, junior American level, so it's not that big. But you get that understanding, that mindset now as soon as you start watching games.
Yes.
It's very different. I'd say easy like 10 years ago.
Oh, coaching a game is fucking hard.
Right. And everything that's happening going on. But what it is and this is why, some of those coaches like, I call my own plays, or, it's like, it doesn't work as much, hardly ever, because of that. You have to manage so many different things. It's more about having the right people in the right place.
Yes.
And managing that and controlling the situations you can, as it is to just, I'm going to scheme and I'm going to have this crazy. Any offense or defensive scheme or play has been invented. You're not creating anything new. No one's like, what's a 4-9-1 defense? Yeah. It doesn't happen.
And one little variable, you could have your game plan set, and one little variable can change that entire thing.
And the good coaches are the ones that adjust.
Yes.
USC's Pete Carroll, another guy you love.
Fucking hate.
He was. They're showing him. It's funny. He was famous for having. They used to call it the best second half team in football because of the big adjustments they used to make. In the first half, it was like, I forget, halfway through the year they showed before they got into Pac-12 play that they were barely ahead, but they killed people second half. So Pete Carroll was not some crazy genius coach. Even now he admits it. It's more about having the right people in the right time and making the correct adjustments.
Yeah.
If you've got one plan and you're that stubborn and this is what we're going to do and this one, you've got to have 3 or 4. I'd rather have 3 or 4 plans that could work than one plan you think absolutely is going to work no matter what. Because like you said, one thing changes the complete dynamic of the game.
Yeah. And it really does. So, it's difficult. Should we give a fuck this much? Probably not, right? We got other things, better things to worry about. But I think it's still possible to be a fan and be critical. I think it's easier for somebody who's never played to take that stance, right? Somebody, if you've never strapped a helmet on and shoulder pads on in your life, or if you've never stood in that batter's box, it's easy for you to say, "Oh, you can't do any better. Oh, he's doing the best he can, right? Oh, you don't know.
Why don't you go do it?"
Yeah.
And you know what? Right. If I had that much talent, and the right opportunity and the right size and frame, guess what? I fucking would.
Yeah.
Because I would put in double the work that those guys would have, because we had to anyway.
Yeah,
I didn't start in high school. I was in the scout team, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's funny because, as you grow older, I understand because of the schools that we both went to. We went to pretty elite high schools. We're lucky at that level of football.
Yeah.
We're playing with the best
Like
of the best.
tops in the nations at one point, right?
Because in California, yeah. Well, then
Yeah.
even Chino, when you guys went to Division II, I mean, again, you're playing Mission Viejo and Mark Sanchez's teams like that.
Jordan, like Carson Palmer's little brother.
Right.
Yeah,
And then,
all this. Yeah.
shit, we lost in the finals to Darnell Bing, Lendale White, Mercedes Lewis, who just played amazing last night and is still in the league. That's the team that, those are the teams
Long
that we
Beach,
played.
I'll never forget that day.
And then Eisenhower, yeah.
I never forget our freshman year.
We
went to their game, and it was right after practice. We were still
Mercedes Lewis was quarterback.
We were still in our the quarterback that went to Stanford was the quarterback.
No, freshman year from the freshman team.
Oh,
yeah, Chris Leak was their varsity quarterback.
No, Chris Leak was on our team. No, that's Chris Leach. No, Jason Leach.
Jason Leach.
Just like I'm thinking
Leak.
about.
Yeah, Leak from Poly to Stanford.
Dude, we went to that game as a freshman, and I'm still wearing my Spirit. You know what I mean? Like, we just got off of football practice, and we were going to the game. Do you want to go?
The rain.
Yeah. And they drove us up to Long Beach Poly, which is one of the top schools in the nation at football at that time. And I remember sitting in that student section, and I'm overlooking the tunnel of Long Beach Poly football, and these huge monster Samoans with their hair out of their back.
Well, they had Winston Justice with
their
6'7".
jerseys, dude. Their green jerseys, they're green, and they sat there in the middle of the tunnel and just there. And I was scared. I'm like, I don't know how our guys got to do this. I was scared, man. Those guys. So we played for some elite teams.
So when I say that, it's like obviously we're not Division I college or pro. But we've competed at a high level to where, again, I get frustrated when I see these players or managers because I know what could happen, what could be expected. And granted, yes, they're doing their best. I'm not.
It's the hardest job.
Whatever.
I get it. There's 1,000 things going on at once.
But I know what's possible, and I think we get frustrated more so because in my mind I'm thinking, damn, if I had the chance, or if I had the talent, or if I had, whatever you can say it was, That's why I think people who have played the game understand it more and can see it as more of like.
So we're more emotionally attached, involved
because you've been through it or you've done that.
So we're bigger fans, is what you're saying.
I think you have to be bigger fans.
Yeah.
There's no bigger fan. I don't care if you played Little League or Pop Warner. At least you've played in those games. At least is like I'd say from like 11 on. You have that competitive edge already where you
because anything
you're scheming at that point.
I think even like after freshman football. Right. That's when if you played anything up until freshman football, you're iffy. But anything after freshman football, like that's the love of the game right there.
Yep.
Like I never remember my junior year, like after getting out of practice, and I'm like just feel like this isn't even fun anymore.
Well,
like this is just work. If I didn't love this game so much, I wouldn't be here.
And that's for me. It was the opposite almost. I mean, I love the game so much. My senior year, I was out for the whole year. I fractured my ankle in summer. Tried to come back early. I dislocated and shattered it again. So I couldn't even play. We started the season. I couldn't even play. I started practicing before modern day. So I wasn't even cleared to play. I couldn't play. The doctors wouldn't clear me to play unless I had surgery. And if I had surgery, my season was done. So I practiced. I still practiced every day for the last 6 weeks. I fucking ran that scout defense and said, you know what? I'm not going to play in the game, but I love this game so much, and I had so much team
sacrifice.
I'd rather that than fucking be in again on crutches again, because I was already on crutches through summer and like the beginning of high school. I wasn't going to deal with it. I was like, fuck it. I'd rather sit here and play and practice, at least be with these guys and play with my brothers than be out and just stand there and watch. Like, there's no way.
It's tough, man. But I think we both agree. The only thing that makes you a fake fan is if you're wearing
the Five Guys thing where they that's
no. The only thing that makes you a fake fan, I think this is the only thing that makes you a fake fan, is if you are switching out every year. Every team that's a championship, you're their fan. Who won the NBA Finals last year? The Raptors, right? If you're wearing a Raptors,
and you're not from Toronto,
yeah. If you're wearing a Raptors, if you're all of a sudden you're
Raptors fan.
Kawhi, bro, Kawhi, right? All of a sudden, right? You're a Raptors fan. Like fake fan, Drake. Perfect example.
Drake
fan, Drake. That's a fake fan, bro. Everybody who's winning.
He's from Canada.
No, okay. Other than
he was
Canada,
the curse. Okay, well I'll give you this. He was the curse to everybody.
But who was he the year before? He was with what, Cleveland or whoever was in the finals, the NBA finals last year. He was
Golden State. Well, he was good friends with LeBron.
On, so what? That's a fake fan, dog. That's a fake fan. Alabama, Clemson. Snoop Dogg's a fake ass fan too.
Snoop Dogg was at the Chargers game 2 weeks ago.
And then didn't he take off his jersey or something like that to go say what's up? Fake fans. Those are fake fans. And if you
those guys are doing it for the money and the publicity.
And if you just don't have no investment in the team, cool. You're still a fake fan.
Yeah.
If you just have no emotional investment, you're a fake fan. And that's cool, I guess, but you can't say shit. You don't have that right.
Definitely don't tell me not to.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely don't tell me don't be emotional.
You're not,
or it's just a game.
Yeah.
Or it's
there are levels of fandom, guys. There are levels to this game. Right?
That's why a fan is short for fanatic.
And that's it. Fan, short for fanatic, okay? There are levels to this game. Everybody here is the same. You think it has to do with the way people look at life as well? Like those people who are critical of their team are more critical of their spouses, are more critical of their kids, or more critical. Hey, but that can be wrong. Like that.
But that's again, that comes down to passion and caring. Because I'm not critical about things I don't give a shit about. I'm just not. I'm not. If there's a Chevy recall, I'm not critical about that. I don't give a shit. I don't drive a Chevy anymore. Like it's just not.
Why did you point outside to my cars?
Oh, that.
Yeah,
there's cars out there. I don't know
because they're both Chevys.
I'm just saying. I don't give a shit about that. That's not what I care about. So you talk about like sports or certain things my family does or food. Being restaurant industry or something like that. Yeah, I'm critical about it. I love the food industry. I love restaurants. I'm a chef. I'm a restaurateur. I'm the biggest person to get pissed off at a restaurant. Like I'm not fucking Gordon Ramsay, but
you're not gonna. But I'm
critical of it.
But you're not gonna flip the table over. You're not gonna.
At the same time, I'm the guy that's
face.
No, but I'm the same guy.
Write a bad Yelp review.
I hate Yelp. My sisters have been there. People have been there with me. When I'll go up to, I'll ask to speak to the manager. I'll tell them, "Dude, I've been here for an hour. This was a great experience. This place ran like a well-oiled machine. Like you're doing a good job, man." Like, and I give a shit. I'm no one to tell them that. Like, who the fuck is this guy?
It's good to hear, though.
But it's good to hear.
Yeah.
Like, people tell me that sometimes at work, and I'm like, oh, shit. Like, thank you. I appreciate it. So people do notice. At the same time, I'm also going to be critical of, like you said, fucking if I see, like, a bunch of hair in my food or something.
Yeah.
I'll be like, come on, man. Like,
restaurant.
I know personally you can do better than this because I've done it.
It's actually
never coming here before.
It's probably hard to not
like, you almost have to legit do it.
Yeah.
Like,
So the equivalent would be, if we're using the restaurant analogy, an equivalent would be for us to continue showing our support by continuing going to those games,
and going to that restaurant. I want to keep going to that restaurant because it's good.
And
quality,
then
great, I get good service.
So then us not supporting or being, would be us not going and not supporting. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I think that's it, man. I don't think there is the only thing I think is a fake fan. I don't think being critical of your team makes you a fake fan. I think it means you care more, maybe more than others, and maybe it's unnecessary care. But as long as you're not hurting yourself or others, you're not out there kicking your dog because your team is losing and Dave Roberts fucking left Clayton Kershaw in 1 inning too long, right? You're not hurting anybody.
You didn't bet the house mortgage.
Under
the game or whatever. Like
that doesn't make you a bad fan, okay? We'll end with this. What makes you a bad fan?
I think what makes you a bad fan to me is not caring or not showing interest in the game. Like I said, if you can't name everyone in your starting lineup, you're a bad fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it has to be everyone. I'm challenging people to name all their offensive linemen on a football team. But, like, if you can at least name some of the guys on your team except for the one jersey you see everyone wearing, like, you don't have to know the coaches' names or, whatever. But if you don't show some type of understanding or appreciation for the game, if you've been to 10 football games because you have season tickets, but you don't know fucking what 2nd and 4 means, you probably shouldn't be there. You don't know what's happening in the game.
Let me ask you this. So, I'm a UCLA fan, right? I've had my allegiance, but last year, I self-admittedly, I was a bad fan. Did not watch one game. I didn't even know who the starting quarterback was.
And that's fair.
Does that make me a bad fan?
If to your standards, yeah, because when you're saying when you're a good fan, yeah, but that's okay as long as you live with it and earn it.
Yeah, me personally, I had been through so much, the ups and downs, where I had to step back. But that doesn't mean I was cursing them when anybody would bring up UCLA. Oh, fuck them, they fucking suck. I'm not wasting my money on that. I didn't do that.
Right.
I just didn't. Oh, they won. Cool.
You didn't invest any more.
I just didn't invest my time or effort into it.
Then that's okay.
So, to my standards, I was a bad fan.
You can do that too. I've talked to people and be like, "Oh, but I've been a bad fan. Like I had a long year. Work was crazy. I'll give you an example. I'm a diehard Lakers fan. It's the one LA team I've always loved. It's the one really good thing me and my dad share.
Yeah, you were Chick Hearn for Halloween that one year, right? Just like Chick Hearn.
But like that's the way we bond. But I love the Lakers.
Yeah.
I'll admit, 3 years ago when I was living in Vegas, and that was like the first year. I was Lonzo's rookie year. I was in Vegas. So I couldn't get every Laker game. I'll say I was a bad fan that year because we weren't that good. I wasn't not a Laker fan. I was still rooting for them.
Yeah.
But it's one of the first years where like I didn't buy any players' jersey because I didn't feel like it. I had a lot of shit going on. I couldn't watch a lot of games. I knew everyone on the team still. I could tell the starting lineups.
Yeah.
I look at the things after. But to me, I was a bad fan that year because I'm used to watching at least 3 quarters of the season. Yeah. I record them, I watch them, but to my standards, like I was a bad fan 2 years ago, man. Like I didn't watch any games. I even felt bad. I was like, and even to that point, I wasn't walking around like repping Lakers stuff like I normally do.
Yeah.
Because it's like, or someone was like, one person did actually have, I think, like a beanie on. They're like, oh, dude, we got smashed last night. And I only saw the score. I was like, yeah, we lost by 20. It's like, oh, yeah, and did you see this? I was like, I just didn't watch the game. Like, I just know we lost.
Yeah.
But to me, that's like, fuck, I'm a bad fan because I'm not as big of a fan as I am.
That's just
sports.
our standards because, and I think to most people I think to other people, that's not even considered a bad fan to their standards, but because we emotionally invest so much, and we do invest, that when we do take that year off for life, which I would say, because I know you were doing a lot that year when you were in Vegas, right? Like we took a year off for life, guys. It makes us a bad fan. I'll tell you what, I think the only thing that can make you a bad fan is if you make your team look bad. We talked about sitting in that right field pavilion. If you're out starting fights, punching people for wearing a Cowboys jersey at a Rams Niner game, or if you're out talking shit, poking, like if it's just like, and I get it.
There's a level. I go to games where I talk back and I say certain things.
Yeah, but
it's cool. You make sure you're not crossing a line.
If you're that guy that is out giving your team the bad name, i.e. the Dodger fan or the Raider fan or the any other hoodlum fan out there, that's just out there starting fights, starting trouble for the sake of the team, you're a bad fan. I honestly,
think just because the other team's wearing something else.
Yeah, like get out of here, bro.
Ridiculous.
Like, yeah, that is ridiculous. That gives not only you a bad name, but it gives our organization a bad name.
Well, yeah, because like I said, I have lots of friends, my family, diehard Dodger fans. They're not those people, but you get that understanding, and that makes the rest of you guys look that way.
Yeah,
because that's all you see.
Yeah,
just like we'll go back to the restaurant thing. You only hear the bad things that go on in a restaurant. You only see the bad Yelp reviews.
Yeah, you never get. Yeah, nobody ever goes out of their way to leave
any
a good
business
review.
Is like that.
Yeah,
again, we go back to it being a business.
Yeah.
You only hear about the bad things.
Never,
the more and more bad things that happen, the more and more negativity that's associated with it. And that's what happens. I know tons of Raider fans that are not violent or aggressive.
Yeah, they're cool. Yeah, my dad.
I go to games. My friends. We went to Denver one year.
I know really good. I know really good Raider fans that don't go to the games for that reason.
Same.
Because they don't want to deal with the idiots.
And I have Dodger friends who are like, we don't go, or who are they playing? Like, I have Dodger friends who are friends that the biggest rivalry in sports, Giants-Dodgers, the West Coast at least, they won't go to those games because they know how bad it gets.
Because they know.
That's not great. That's
horrible. But also don't be a loudmouth either. Like, don't be a loudmouth.
Well, you gotta know where you're at. Like when I go in my Mets jerseys, I'm the only one there.
If you're in New York, be a loudmouth.
I'm not Dodger game, and every strike I'm standing up and clapping and flipping people off.
That's right, brother.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you're
asking for it.
if it's 5-2 and I'm losing and the guy hits a single, I'm not jumping up and flipping everybody off.
Yeah.
Like I know my place and where I'm at.
It just be a cool fan, you know. Look, I cheer a good game. The Rams game, Goff threw a great ball, you know, which I I'm making that up, but you know, hey, good play, guys. Like that was legit, you know. So just to wrap it up, man, I think that's that. I think we kind of went a little everywhere, but I think we did kind of touch on it. Basically, not touched on it, but I think we ironed it out. What makes you a good fan? What makes you a bad fan? So I'm really interested to see what you guys think. So don't be afraid to comment down there. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Adrian, you want to plug anything?
No, not yet, man. We got some stuff coming soon. I got a podcast I'm working on too. But I appreciate you having me on here, man. It's always fun, always talking, and
always a good time.
Hopefully, come back soon.
Always a good time. Like I said, it's about 2 weeks too late. We lost a little bit of momentum, but shit happens. So, all right, guys. Thank you. All right, guys. Thanks a lot, man. We'll see you guys next episode. Have a good one. Peace.
That was good. Sorry. How long were we there for?
About an hour.
That's all right. Oh shit! Did it really?
Oh, dude, we're right at 59 seconds. 59.
Really?